What's going on? Ryan Troy back with another video for you today. And today I am joined with Vahagn from Photography,
Rock and roll.
There we go. And Frames. Now, you may know these two gentlemen from the Nikon community. We make a lot of videos about Nikon and photography in general. We will have a 3-part to this. So this part will be on my channel. We will have another part on Vahagn's channel and another part on Frames channel. So make sure that you go check out their channel. Links will be down below in the description of part 2 and part 3 of this same conversation with different topics. Okay. So we're going to jump this right into influencers versus photographers. We have a lot of photographers on YouTube that are just influencers, and we have some that are actual real photographers like we are. How are you guys doing today?
Good, brother. How you doing, Ryan?
Doing pretty good.
How you doing, Frames?
I'm fantastic. And thanks for this invite. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I want to thank you for having us. Been a big fan of both your channels, and just happy to be here conversating with you gentlemen.
Definitely. So off into the topic, though. I'm gonna let Vahagn lead this on a little bit. I feel he has the best talking voice of all of us.
Oh,
right?
No. No, I just, good topic you're bringing up, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
We watch, I don't know about you guys, but before I started Vahography, I was a big, avid photography YouTube watcher. I'd see these guys come on YouTube, and especially when I'd buy a lens, the first thing I would do when I get home, watch a review.
Definitely.
And I see all these guys get on here and talk about it. I'm like, I can do this. Why am I doing this? I actually have gigs. I might not be the most, professional speaker, of them all, but, I can be myself and enjoy myself and make videos. So that's what I did. And that's basically how I started my YouTube channel. But I noticed that a lot of guys, and I'm not saying the whole photography community on YouTube, but some of those guys, they're just like, I don't think they shoot. And they just talk about cameras and sometimes trash cameras and without even using them.
Right.
But there's one thing to test the camera, right, Frames? There's one thing to test the camera in the studio when you're reviewing and unboxing it. And then there's another thing to actually take it on a gig when you're sweating and it's, 100 degrees outside and the client's, bitching at you. So I don't know if we could cuss, but, the client's like, getting mad and, demanding stuff. That's you're running and gunning right there, right?
Right.
So you're in pressure. You're actually shooting with this camera. So there's a difference between unboxing. So some of those guys, all they do is just review and they shoot and they take it out and shoot trees or whatever.
Right.
That's really, I do that too, just because I need to get a review out. But, I love shooting it. I love taking it out. There's a big difference between taking it out, shooting on a real world photo gig versus just showing you on, So yeah, I wish we had more real photographers on YouTube, not just influencers, but it is what it is, And the sad thing is that a lot of these guys, that new generation that, watch us for, tips and tricks and whatnot, they actually listen to these guys, and some of the information is incorrect. So, and by the way, Frames, I like that video you just posted.
Well,
about 2 weeks ago.
I don't know how I feel about it now, but the intention wasn't to bash anyone, but I felt emotionally about it because I know I can separate the truth from the lies and or let's say I have more experience with a certain camera and I understand how it can work and how I can make it work. I thought it's a simple point to put across, and I thought I just should do it. So, and
you got some pretty 90% of the comments were for you.
Yeah,
95.
That's very interesting because that tells us something. That tells us that people out there do not resonate with which camera is better by 0.02%. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Right. what Vahagn was talking about was going out and experiencing what you go through while shooting is probably far more important than uh, having to go through one more button. I mean, it really doesn't. Yeah.
No, I understand. I just, that's actually how I got your Instagram, from the comment on that video. I
Yeah.
know we talked months ago,
Yes.
but then
Yeah.
I saw that video because, I'm subscribed to Frames and Ryan's channel, but.
And look, I've been following for a long time, right? And the one thing that I love about your videos is when at the end of the videos you show those pictures. Oh my God, that's just peace to my soul. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So, it just makes me come back. Whenever I see a new upload, I see, okay, is there going to be pictures this time or not? And that's a beautiful thing to do, because I don't see enough of that. That's exactly what you're talking about, right? So we do not see enough of that. We do not see enough of work and criticism around it. Let's talk about gear, but let's talk about the final product.
You're like, you just don't hold back, huh? With people like commenting, he goes all out on them.
The thing is, I'm reacting. I'm not. I'm reacting. I'm saying it. I'm taking the shot second, right? So.
Yeah,
and
that's crazy, man. And Ryan, you're doing a great job with the videos too. Like, see, the thing with you guys that I respect you guys is that you actually shoot.
Right.
For example, Ryan's video, that fire video, man, talk about that. That was you guys are real photographers. So
I appreciate that. And the thing is, see, when it comes to this space, I'm just going to speak for myself, but if y'all feel the same way, definitely. I feel as if, because I am a photographer and I'm new to YouTube, I kind of have to get used to, all of those comments that come that where people don't agree with certain things. It's kind of hard to be politically correct as far as how I respond to them as well, because I'm a photographer. I know, you know what I mean? I know my settings, I know my camera, and I don't have the luxury of being able to have every single camera as soon as it comes out. So I get to actually, get with my camera and have it for a long time and learn my camera. I think that's kind of hard to do. It's kind of hard to learn the camera when you have it for, like, a couple of days and you got to shoot a review out. It's kind of hard. Another thing that if we're talking about, influencers versus photographers, it's my camera is just cutting off. It just keeps cutting off and cutting back on. I don't know what's going on.
No, I think you have to set the power of delay mode to unlimited, because
it's on that. It's on that. It's just, I don't know, it's weird. But
you guys are using both Z6s?
I'm using Z6 II, which is why the autofocus is so spot on. You know what I mean? It's perfect.
You know what? You'll be surprised. I'm using the Z6 II with the Tamron 35mm 1.4. So it's a third-party lens, an F mount. It's doing a fantastic job. I don't know what people talk about. I just don't relate to it.
I don't either. But a thing when it comes to, I'm just gonna say, certain influencer channels. One thing before I started YouTube that I told myself I would never do, I never try to do, is critiques. When you have a new photographer that, just like Vahagn said, we come to YouTube and we want to, you know what I mean? Especially when you're new, you see all of these bigger YouTubers in the photography space and you want your work critique. You want to know what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. And one thing that you have to realize is art is subjective. So if you have a style of photography that you really love, I cannot tell you that what you're doing is wrong. Like, and I feel a lot of channels, especially when you touch the influencer and not photography, if you have somebody that understands photography and understand that, okay, your style may not be my style, and this person, or whoever is just, nah, you should never do this, you should edit it this way, it's like that type of influence is very harmful for new photographers trying to get into that space. That's just one thing I tried to never do, is do critiques. I have people that ask me if I would do critiques on my channel, and it's like, I don't want to be a part of that, because I never want to tear down another photographer for their style just because our style is different. So I think a lot of influencers don't really understand that part when it comes to photography, where it's like everybody started somewhere. You have to let people find their style, their genre of photography,
Yeah,
and
you have to
go
let
in
people
with it.
grow. You have
Yeah,
to
you
let
have
people
to.
grow. And you know, like I said, if you know, when I started shooting Nikon, I wasn't influenced to shoot Nikon. You
Right,
know, I tried the product and I liked it myself.
right.
A lot of guys, they might think, oh, if he's using Canon. I mean, look, I shoot weddings, right? And the wedding
Mhm.
industry, 90% is Sony Canon. You very rarely see Nikon shooters out there in my market, you know, especially when you're doing video. Video, Sony all the way. I mean, you see Sony and Canon, more Sony, but Nikon's coming up, you know. But
Yeah,
yeah, so if it wasn't for, if I listened to influencers, I probably would not pick up a Nikon. I'd probably go with the popular thing was going on.
right.
So I have a question for both of you,
Okay.
and also perhaps for myself. What what is an influencer, and what are they supposed to influence?
Well,
You want to start? I can start.
no,
It's up
you
to you.
go for
Okay.
it.
So the world of influencers, this became something that this phrase became something popular within the last couple of years, but influencers have always existed. Basically, it's people with a large following that can influence somebody's decision to that they will make on something
Right.
just based off of them being your fan base and them trusting you to lead them into the right place. So that makes you an influencer. It's crazy, but this is where we this is where
Yeah.
we are right
So
now.
so what decisions? That you know, then and then I think in the end the conversation is pivoted on that thing. What are the decisions that influencers today are influencing? Right? They're
Well,
helping, or right?
well, I mean, there's two types. Now, if you're using it for advertisement and you're not bashing the other company,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
fine. You know, a la thing, Ashton Kutcher when he was with you remember those commercials
Yeah.
with
Mm-hmm.
when he's using Nikon, Ashton Kutcher. Well, I think Nikon should do more of that. I think Nikon should get into what Canon and Sony are doing that right now. They're
Exactly.
attaching their products to big names.
Exactly.
For advertising purposes, it's perfect. But if you're gonna sit there and you're gonna say, "Oh, Nikon sucks," Canon is the best. Oh, Nikon sucks. The autofocus is no good. You can't even. I shoot professionally with these cameras, and my clients love them, and it works. It works for me. And why would you bash? If you're bashing another company, then no, I'm totally against that. If you're paid shill, if you're a paid shill, and you can pretty much tell, I'm against that. But if the company's using it for advertising, I'm okay for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, see, my point of view on that is this: photography or any creative sphere is such that it's very personal at the end of the day. And for anyone who's a creative, what is important that at the end of the day, after 10 years or 5 years, that person looks back and he would like to see some meaning, right, in all those years that he has put in, right? So when I say an influencer, I want to see whether that influencer is sort of pushing me towards making me a better photographer, better creative thinker, a more critical thinker. Someone who is telling me there are 10 aspects, there maybe 100 sides to photography, right? Um,
You mean
and
you don't like the
finally,
click? You mean you don't
what?
like the clickbaiters? The
Yeah, I
clickbait
guess
type.
not. I guess not. Yeah, I guess not. So I think finally, the decisions they help me make should lead to me making something meaningful. Of course, spending a certain amount of money and buying a gear is important because I don't want to waste that money. It's meaningful to me. It's important for me. But that's such a small decision in the context of all the other decisions we're going to make as creatives,
Yeah, that's right.
right?
You're
So
absolutely right. Yeah.
influencers, I think, have a big job,
They do.
especially
Yeah.
in areas like photography or filmmaking or art, any art, right? Because I think they are influencing people who are going to produce stuff that the rest of the world are going to consume tomorrow and say, I like that, or I don't like that. There's point of view in art, right? I am not
Right.
seeing enough influencers talking about point of view, how to build one, how to think better, what kind of books to read, right? I'm not seeing that. And it's because I don't see that enough. Somewhere I don't also tell myself, look, I have to read a book a week, or maybe a couple of books in a month. Instead, I'm thinking, what should be the next camera that I buy, and how is that 1 inch ahead of the other brand? How is that contributing to my life as a maker?
Right.
I don't know.
Yep.
So, and
Right.
that's where I think that there is. So I love. I mean, I like to take names because it's easy. It's great for people to identify good things. I love Sean Tucker. I love watching the flow of his life and how he has sort of used photography and filmmaking as an avenue for a creative expression. It's almost as if he needed to do it, right? Art of photography. Ted Forbes, fantastic. Yeah. Learned so much from him.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
yeah, I love the. I'm a big fan of musicians. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when I see musicians, trying to get into photography, that's like, wow, big influence.
Mm-hmm.
A big rock star, great at his instrument. Great. Writes great music, and you see on Instagram that he's also a gearhead. It's like, wow, you want to kind of like, hey man, I can teach you photography. Give me lessons on your drums or whatever. So I like that, So a lot of guys like the pitcher from the Yankees. What was his name? He retired. Johnson. Check him out. I forget his first name, but he does concert photography professionally. He's a retired, amazing pitcher. He used to pitch for the Yankees. Ryan Johnson or something Johnson. So.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I still like Matt Granger, the original Nikon guy.
Oh, the Nikon guy.
Yeah, but Matt Irwin too. I'm not sure that's his name, right? Matt Irwin. Yeah, he's from he's
he's a newer guy, no?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I really like. Is like he's coming up and everything. So I love that.
Matt Irwin was one of the first ones that got the MC 105.
and there was monochrome memoirs, William. I don't know, he just stopped doing it, but I mean, he really
what happened to him? He disappeared.
I think he started getting promotion offers and all. He said, I'm not going to do this.
Monochrome memoirs, right?
Yeah.
I watch his stuff. I really look, this is controversial, but like angry photographer. Look, okay, the guy is smart.
Look, we have to all accept you all love him somewhere.
He's a smart guy. Obviously he knows a lot about stuff.
Yeah.
When he starts, you can tell, he's just Fuji.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was a big Nikon guy at one point.
Yeah.
But he's just bashing Nikon right now.
The worst part is that I love my Fuji. And then when someone does that, I start looking at Fuji and I start resenting it, because it's like my love is compete. Someone is saying that your love for what your two camera brands should compete and one should be the winner.
I'm not gonna lie, I really respect Fuji users, man, because a lot of them came from Nikon. It seems like everybody I run into that shoots Fuji came from Nikon, and it's
or they're hybrid. They shoot Nikon.
And because of that alone, like you go to a system that's not one of the three big brands, and it's like, I know nobody's influencing you to do that. You're there because you really want to be there. And that's what I'm all for. I mean, if you really want to shoot Sony, shoot Sony. If you really want to shoot Canon, shoot Canon. Shoot what you want to shoot. No problem. So I got respect for Fuji shooters, just because I feel like the way we get talked about, I feel like they probably have it a little worse than we do. And I'm like, nah, you know what I mean? You can't pick on Fuji shooters.
I'll tell you something interesting that I observed, that when I follow all these groups on Facebook, right, for Canon, Sony, Nikon, and Fuji, I saw that the Fuji page is filled with fantastic creative stuff, such beautiful work, right? And if you go to Sony page and only gear talk, there's no, they don't talk about work. And Fuji's, the page is so beautiful, filled with pictures. So I think Fuji users are inspired They love just taking the camera out and just doing something with it.
I mean, honestly, guys, I always say this and I will continue to say this. If you like Nikon, go with Nikon. If you have a collection of Nikon glass and you want to buy yourself the new Canon R3 just for the kicks, go for it. Don't limit yourself. You know, I respect the guy, the big dude. What's his name? The Canon ambassador has like 5 million followers. What's his name?
Okay. Oh,
Peter McKinnon.
Peter
Peter
McKinnon. Yeah.
McKinnon. Oh yeah.
He does good content.
Yeah.
You know, he's a good guy, and he does, you know, he knows what he's talking about, and I respect his marketing, and I respect him as a, you know, person.
I respect him as an influencer too.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's great, but not like, I haven't seen his photography. He's more of like a video guy, is he, or he's a photographer?
He does it. Yeah, he does.
I like his Insta
really
page. There's a
good
lot of work there.
He does good at filming too. He's real good
Yeah.
at that, definitely.
Yeah, he's good. He's good at that. I mean, like, if you want to get an R3, by the way, he just had a video on the R3. Did you watch it?
I
Yeah.
don't think I did.
Yeah, he was holding the R3.
Okay.
Yeah, but that thing looks sleek, man. That thing looks sleek. Got to give it to Canon. But yeah, if you want to use Canon just to have as a side chick, why not? You know what I mean? Have fun with it. I'm not
Side chick.
And one thing that I do, like speaking about Peter McKinnon, to me, I think that would be, because like we just, you know, speaking about influencers, that would be the right type of influencer, in my opinion, for somebody that I could recommend for somebody to follow, because he don't bash anything. I never seen him speak bad about Sony a day in my life, or Nikon. He is all to his brand. And he makes good content to me. I haven't seen him bash any other brand. And 5 million viewers, that's a lot of influencers. Are you doing the right thing with your influence or the wrong thing with your influence? I think he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, he's got stories and very inspiring.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, you know what? I give him a high five. Rock and roll, Peter.
Yeah.
No, seriously, like, you see these guys that are like kind of jealous of his success. You can tell. You look at their eyes and you can tell, okay, he has 5 million. Why do I only have, you know, a fraction of that? You know, I've put in so much work, but he's a good guy, and you know, he's always happy and upbeat.
Yeah, because you know, Vahagn, I think there are a lot more photography and filmmaking lovers than there are camera lovers.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So obviously,
good
if you just talk about this camera, this processor, okay, this is the speed and 30 frames per second, all that. Well, you have a market, but that's smaller compared to the larger market where people just love shooting.
Wait a minute, he's a photographer, or he's
a photographer, but he's
very much a photographer. He started off as a.
I haven't seen his photo still work,
but no, his videos. He did something for Ford. He did something for, I want to say, Kia. The films. Oh, you got to watch that one. Like those people that can do photography and the film, they blow up because it's just more like Frames just said. Photography is like this, you know. We know that part, but when you put film into it and you could, you know, make these stories, keep people watching, you just come more valuable, especially to other, you know, companies for them to.
Well, I mean, but there are photographers that are just do great work, and they do have a good following as well.
Yeah.
Jerry Guiones comes to mind. He's a very good photographer. He knows posing. One of my favorites. You know, so. Yeah, I mean, bashing is not worth it on YouTube. Just do your thing. You're using Nikon, whatever. Like I said, Canon, Sony, I like what they're doing. It's not for me right now. It's not for me. I prefer not my Nikons.
Right.
And for reasons that, you know, handling and lenses, sharpness. But, whatever works for you, man.
There's a point here, though. I mean, there is a space for criticism, for thoughtful, constructive criticism. Bashing is different. But I think most often what I see is, even if the person has the intent is to sort of ask the brand of the company to do a little better and help consumers with a better product, that is a constructive criticism. But what matters there is a tone and manner, how you're presenting that story, how you're making the audience feel about a certain camera or brand. that thin line between bashing and criticism, constructive, positive criticism, I think that should be, one should be more mindful of that. Because of course we have to talk about, tell the camera brands to do better, right? Of course, that's important. We should never say, okay, you know, whatever you've done so far, that's great. Next year you come back with the same product, but charge more money. No. They should give us more. Of course, there's no doubt about that. But how should that criticism be presented? I think that is very important.
Agreed.
I think that this is a good place to wrap up this right here and jump into a next topic.
So, but before you wrap up,
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let me just YouTube guys, photographers out there, stop with all these jump cuts. Like, seriously, it's not entertaining. You cut into somebody screaming. I mean, come on. I mean, once or twice in the video is cool, but if you're gonna keep doing that, and it's just, oh my God, man, it's not entertaining for me. Right. I don't know about it for you. And by the way, guys, I want to like ask you guys a question. Ryan, let me start with you.
Mm-hmm.
How often do you watch other photographers on YouTube?
All day long. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Like, I am a full-time photographer, so majority of my time is editing. I have 2 monitors, so I'm literally, editing on one screen and watching YouTube on the next screen. But it's not that I'm watching photographers because I'm trying to learn something. It's more of I'm trying to see how I need to better my channel. So I'm looking at, successful YouTube photographers to see what they're doing, to see what I could probably implement on my channel.
Oh, of course. And it's not just for you to gain inspiration,
right?
Because we're all new. We're all new to this. Exactly. We've been photographers for years, but we're new to YouTube. Right. We're new to like talking about photography and this and that. So that's cool, man. That's cool. Me too. I just at night when I'm done with my editing or my videos, whatever, I go on my big screen YouTube app. And they all come, all the recommendations.
Right.
Yeah. Frames, what about you, man?
No, so I'll tell you, I mean, at times these the channels, I mean, whenever it's almost always on, just like Ryan, and at times I fall asleep to that. It's like going on in the background, nice. It makes me sleep nice.
Hopefully you fall asleep to my videos because the
no. Your videos I watch in the morning.
Rock and roll.
The more playtime.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
We're going to see you guys in the next episode. And we're going to talk about something very interesting coming up. We're going to talk about what we think the Z8 should be. We should talk about that. And we're going to also talk about how Nikon as a company is shaping up and what we think is going to be the future of Nikon. Very interesting conversations. Look forward to that, guys. And yeah, you'll see them.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Frames.
Definitely. Make sure you follow these 2 guys. The link will be in the description below. And head over to their channel for the rest of this talk.